Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 90 in Ontario, League One's weekly series, recapping the previous week's games, bringing you interviews of players and coaches, and previewing the upcoming week's action. For episode 12, we'll be wrapping up week 10, which had tons of action, including the quarterfinals of the Women's League 1 Cup. So without further delay, let's get into the recap.
I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot. Yeah, coming in hot. Just like the fajita. I write what I live. My life in the speaker.
Looking deep for Aguiame. That ball may check up. The slip, and now Aguiame may be in. One-on-one with Creno. Around the keeper. Diving back was Priore. Challenge was initially won by Wanless, who's down. Chiquilo fanned on the shot. Marshall in space, and he couldn't slot it into the bottom right corner. Czarnecki lost it on the turn. Chance here for Woodbridge. Cut back into an area. Czarnecki away. Getty trying to find Solomon. Michael Solomon is in here. Can't collect his feet. Rolls into the corner. And Roma.
Followed that up with a victory over FC London, 2-1, leaving the four cities' finest grasping for any hope to stay in the Premiership. Well, that got significantly worse. Week 12, League 1 Ontario's 2025 season just wrapped up, and it was fire across all three divisions, giving excitement for our fans across the province. Here's the League 1 laydown in two... Actually, let's make that 3 minutes because I haven't been able to hold true to this timing. Let's go. Let's start with what I hinted at the beginning. FC London Giannis Slatidis and his side were dealt a major blow, giving up 6 to Skrosapi FC over the past week. The side's going to have a lot of work to do if they plan to stay in the Premiership come the 2026 season. Moving on to another team that had a major morale blow this past week, Vaughan Azzurri were the only team to double up, drawing Oakville and losing to Sigma. They're going to have a lot of cleaning up to do come week 13. The Burlington Bayhawks blanked the seldomly beaten Alliance United boys, building off of a Shirazi brace. The St. Catharines Roma Wolves narrowly stole all 3 points from the grasp of the Woodbridge Strikers, thanks to a goal and added time at the 90th +4. The Simcoe County Rovers continued their 4-game undefeated streak, taking down the North Toronto Nitros 2-0. The championship had each of its teams in action at least once this season, gracing us with a home and away series between Hammer and Rose City. Windsor City FC would ultimately take both games 1-0. 4 goals in 40 minutes would define Whitby FC's meeting with the Saints. With the sides drawn at the half, Avery Grange's goal would give Whitby the lead and the dub. The Sudbury Cyclones returned to form with a win over Waterloo, as Aliu, Santo, and Devos all found mesh. Outside of its goal scoring, this game was defined by its intensity, with 12 cards being shown between the two teams, including a 1 red. Despite an own goal, Unionville Milliken were able to squeeze out a victory in their meeting with Pickering, 3-2. Wrapping up week 12, both Guelph and North Mississauga were capped at a goal apiece in their meetings with the York United Academy and the Borough respectively. York ultimately took down Guelph 2-1, while the Borough hunted the Panthers to a 5-1 thrashing, claiming second in the division. Finally on the week, League 2 and the L1 Cup gave us some fun. The Rush Canada Academy were unable to close the gap on first in the L2 Central Conference as they dropped the week 2-1 to the Woodbridge Strikers B roster. Oppositely, Cambridge United finally clinched first in the L2 Southwest Conference, taking down Windsor City L2 2-1. Railway City got back into the winning spirit as Owen, Williams, and 2 from Lowe helped the side win 4-0 over Hamilton L2. And finally, for Week 12 action, the Simcoe County Rovers punched their ticket to the L1 Cup semifinals, taking down Unionville Milliken 4-0. They now have to wait till July 2nd to see if they'll be facing Skrosapi FC or the North Toronto Nitros in their penultimate step to L1 glory.
All right, thank you to our social media team for putting everything together and quickly going over the standings. In the men's Premier Division, Alliance United is sitting at the top with 19 points but have played 3 more matches than the next 3 teams. Woodbridge Strikers, Oakville SC, and Skrosapi FC round out the top 4, all being separated by a point, which is leading to an amazing second half of the season for the title run. On the bottom half, North Toronto is sitting in second last with 7 points, and FC London is at the bottom at 4. Both teams still have a chance to pull themselves out of the relegation, but have lots of ground to make up, as Sigma is the team to chase, sitting 7 points clear of the relegation playoff spot. For the women's side, NDC finally took top spot back with Simcoe tying this past weekend, but they're still just 1 point behind with 26 points. Vaughan and North Toronto are on the outside looking in, as Vaughan are 3 points off the top and North Toronto with 4. Lower on the table, there are 4 teams in a relegation battle being separated by just 2 points. FC London sit at the bottom with Alliance, 1 point ahead and level with North Miss, and Woodbridge, although two spots clear, are just 1 point away from all the action. Heading to the men's championship division, Sudbury are not only at the top, but starting to separate themselves from the pack, having a 4-point cushion at this time, looking to guarantee them a spot in the Premier Division next season. For the second spot, it looks as the Borough FC and Masters FA are fighting it out, as the former are on 20 points and the latter are on 19. The rest of the pack are extremely tight, and almost any team can still fight for that promotion playoff spot. In the Women's Championship, there is a 3-way tie for top spot between Hamilton, Pickering, and Whitby FC at 18 points, and then Scroscopie 2 points off at 16, which is leading to an absolutely wide open title race. To add on, the League 1 women's quarters wrapped up, which brought upsets and great games as well. On the Tuesday, Alliance United brought their great form from the league to their cup game against NDC Ontario. Alliance received a penalty in the 7th minute, which was initially saved, but penalty taker Sofia Ferrante cleaned up the rebound to put her team up 1-0. Alliance must have thought they would be going into the half up 2-0 when Heike Clark scored in the 42nd minute, but NDC would strike back just a minute later through Gabriella Istaki, seeing the halftime score be 2-1 in favor of the Wayside. The second half was tight, and NDC's head coach Melissa Bigg really used her bench in order to have an impact on the game by making 5 subs by the 60th minute, but a sending off of the goal scorer Gabriella in the 73rd, which also gave Alliance United a second penalty, which was converted, saw the game end 3-1 and Alliance heading to the semis. Wednesday the 18th saw 2 games played out, where host North Toronto Nitros hosted North Mississauga, where the visitors went into halftime up 1-0 through a goal in the 19th minute via Nyla Doria Anderson, but in the second half, North Toronto turned it on, leveling in the 56th minute through Kiyomi McCausland. The game stayed tied until the 81st, where Ashley Campbell would put the Nitros ahead and then sealed it with another in the 94th minute. The other match saw Simcoe County Rovers host Whitby FC, where the visitors were just no match for Simcoe on the day, losing 3-0, where the Rovers saw a brace scored by their very own Ali Grau. The following day, Vaughan Missouri hosted FC London in the final match of the quarters, where more drama unfolded. The visitors took the lead in the 39th minute through Gabby Cahoot, and London held the lead for most of the match until the player who is inevitable right now, Nia Fleming-Thompson, scored in the 87th minute to level the score. Both teams must have been convinced the game was going into penalties, but in the 94th minute, with quite literally no time to spare, Kimmy Liu headers in a cross past Faith Fenwick and drags FC London to the semifinals. Fully wrapping up the past weekend, please check out our Instagram page at League1 Ontario for the players of the week and the teams of the week for all of our divisions. Additionally, if you are liking the series so far, please consider subscribing, and while you're down there, hit the like button if you're enjoying the video. And if you want to stay up to date with everything League 1, download the League 1 Canada app to get live scores and standings for not only Ontario, but coast to coast from BC to Quebec. Now, before heading into next week's actions, we have our U20 player feature of the week, where our very own Alex Balta sits down with Kristijan Fortier of Alliance United for an interview.
Welcome to this week's U20 Players Feature. Today we're excited to be joined by Kristijan Fortier of Alliance United, our standout U20 Player of the Week. Kristijan played for TFC Academy and now he's moved on to Alliance United. Welcome, Kristijan.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Yeah, we'll get right into it. So you made the jump from the Canadian Championship Division last year, or the Championship Division last year, into the Premier Division this year. How has that transition impacted your experience and development on the field? So what I'm getting at is you were at TFC Academy, playing the Championship, now with Alliance at the Premier higher level.
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, everything, like, it's a little higher pace. Everybody's a little bigger, faster, more older guys. In Championship, it seemed to be a lot of, like, younger guys similar to my age, but now a lot of, like, more men. So it's been a fun jump.
So I'll keep going on that. And I know that, like, generally when you play for TFC, generally you're going to dominate possession. I think you guys dominated possession last year when you were in the Championship. This year, is that the same experience? Is a little bit less? Like, how is that, difference?
Yeah.
How's that experience been?
Yeah, especially, like, it's always interesting, like when you move teams, like the different styles. So I'd say TFC, yeah, you mentioned it, like possession. All the teams in the championship, we pretty much dominated the game. But now with the men's team with Alliance, we sort of let the other team have the ball a little more and hit them on the counter. So yeah, it's been an interesting transition.
Yeah, and you guys gotten a lot of results from that and top of the table at the moment, which we'll dive into a little bit later. So at Alliance, you're now competing alongside men rather than peers from TFC Academy's younger setup when you were there. How has that shift changed the pace, physicality, or your approach to the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think it doesn't change much. I mean, you got to always, like, I'm a player that likes to think a couple steps ahead, or try to at least. So maybe that's one thing, like try and think a little more ahead, because when you get in the physical duels with the men as opposed to people your own age, maybe it'll favor them a little more. But other than that, it's similar. It's been a fun transition. I mean, maturity, and these guys can give you tips and stuff, so it's been a fun transition.
So you get some tips. How about within training? Like, is there the competitive vibe a little bit different as well with the men versus when you were training with your, say, along your own ages?
I mean, I think I may be like a different case than most, because I mean, TFC, you're sort of always like, it's a pretty good environment in the academy, and so Alliance, obviously, it is too. So I'd say sort of similar, very serious. I mean, the men, maybe they don't have to go over things as many times as like people like 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds, but I mean, yeah, it's been a good transition, and everybody on the team has been super helpful.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, the Alliance has been successful for years, so that speaks to the credibility of the program. Your ability to deliver accurate crosses and final balls, both from deep and in tight spaces, is a clear strength. Are there other aspects of your game that you feel deserve more recognition or that you're fond of?
I mean, I think you hit it on the head. I mean, I'm always trying to work on everything, and I think those come from me being a center mid player. So getting it out on the wing, I mean, it offers different, I mean, chances, and so maybe I get a little more time and don't have to worry about people coming at me from behind me, as I got a sideline behind me. So I mean, just offers different challenges for me, and yeah, I think you nailed it. Passing, creating opportunities, trying to think 2 steps, 3 steps ahead, as I mentioned before. That's part of my game.
Would you consider yourself a pacey player?
So, that's definitely one of the areas we're trying to work on. I mean,
No, I'm not saying it as an insult. Why I'm saying it is how, like, when you're on the wing, because you're typically a midfielder in your previous roles. How on the wing do you release a little bit quicker? Do you avoid getting yourself in those situations, or do you still say no, I want that 1v1
no, I
opportunity?
mean, yeah, it's been interesting, because like in the middle of the park, normally like you don't like take chances to go on 1-on-1 with people, especially like in your own half. But I mean, it's been fun, like getting used to like taking people on, as the season's gone on, and I've gotten more used to playing out on the wing. I feel like I've taken more people on, and it's sort of fun in a way. I mean, I also like center mid, but playing out on the wing is also pretty fun.
So it's making you a more well-rounded player. Let's say that then.
Yeah, you could say that. I mean, you said releasing the ball quicker, but I mean, sometimes on the wing, like you just get the opportunity to take people 1-on-1, and like the result, if you lose the ball, it's not as like catastrophic as losing it in your own half.
Yeah, no. And I mean, you've been very effective from the footage I've seen, so keep it up. And so, despite a couple of recent losses, Alliance still sits at the top of the table with games in hand. What's the mood in the locker room? How's the team approaching the final stretch?
I mean, yeah, we've talked a lot about like these are men, so they're pretty level-headed, lots of them, and they've been through, like many of them have been through League1 seasons before. So everybody's just like, we're focused, we're training harder than ever, and we're hoping to get a big result this weekend.
A big game ahead of you. So, finally, just looking at your own career. So, looking ahead, what are your long-term goals in football? You've completed a year at Syracuse. So, yeah, outline what you think the perfect future looks like for you.
I mean, just nail the day today. Try and win the game this weekend. Try and have a great season at Syracuse. Try and win a natty at Syracuse this year, the next year, and then we'll see where I go from there. But just train every day as hard as I can, and we'll see where that takes
Living
me.
in the moment, as they say.
Living in the moment.
Okay. Kristijan, I want to appreciate you for coming on today, and we wish you all the best this weekend and as you move forward.
All right. Thank you to both Alex and Kristijan for taking the time to tell us Kristijan's story so far. But with that, we can finally look forward to the upcoming week where Carlisle Vizette and Azaz Sheikh previews the games of the week where Carlisle has a special guest from Hamilton.
And very pleased to be joined by Taj Moore, now goalkeeper for Hamilton United. Taj, thanks for doing this. I know you just got back from another experience with the Antigua national team. Let's start with that. How has that experience been?
I've been called up a few times now, but this call up was more special to me because I started the first game against Cuba, and it's a full rebuilding team. And the coach had some conversations with me and was like, yeah, I want you to be one of the goalkeepers we have for the next 15 years. And I think I went out and did my best, and he's loved me ever since.
Tell me more about that moment when you hear, 15 years. That's a career.
It was after the Cuba game. We lost 1-0, and directly after, I was crying because we needed to win that game, and that game would have taken us to the next game. I was crying on the field. He comes up to me first person. He's like, Taj, don't worry about anything. I know you. I know you have. I know your level. I know you're good. I'm going to use you for the next 15 years alongside our other keeper. And I was still a bit sad, but I was bubbling a bit,
Let's talk about your League One experience now. I know you were with FC London last season. You're with Hamilton now. Results-wise, it's been a tough season for the club side, but tell me about what it's been like for you and maybe having to battle over some adversity in the season.
Yeah, it's been a tough season so far, but the team, we're still focused. We're still trying to win. We're still trying to be the best we can. Every practice, there's a high intensity, high level. The coaching staff has been helping with us, even the club. We lost our coach recently, a couple of days ago, days before I got back. But then we got a coach maybe 2 days later. The club has been helping us very much. Goals for me, personally, I want to win. Obviously, I want to win some games. I want to perform the best I ever can and keep raising my standards. And then long term, I want to make that move into a proper professional career, get into a professional club, then from professional club, and maybe in the CPL, go to the MLS, maybe from the MLS, go to somewhere in Europe, and just keep bumping my level higher and higher.
All right, Taj, best of luck with that, the rest of your career with both Hamilton and, of course, the Antigua national team.
Thank you very much.
The last thing I'll ask, Keith, is just about the match coming up against Hamilton. I know looking at the table, there certainly will be, I think, maybe expectations about how this game should go. So what is the message to your squad going up against them?
Well, my message is the same week in, week out. It's not about league tables. It's not about 3 points. It's not about 1 point. It's about performance, and it's about performance level. And every team in this league can beat anybody. I really believe that. Like League One has built a great franchise right throughout most of the divisions, where to think you've got an easy game coming up is your first mistake, because there's no such thing in this league. And if you look at Hamilton's results, they're in every game. They're we've watched their games, and they're in every game, and it's very tight, and especially lately they seem to a little bit tighter than they were. And my message is clear. It's about our performance. It's about what we do to win our individual battles and what we do collectively. And I believe if we get that right, most weeks, week in, week out, we have a chance to beat any team, and that message won't change. And yeah, after a disappointing weekend where we played well, we didn't get the result we wanted, and had our second loss of the season. We need to bounce back. And being at home is a good opportunity in front of our own fans for us to be able to do that. And I certainly won't be taking this game lightly, and I'll be staying on top of my players. They go in with a professional attitude so that we get what we want, which is 3 points at home.
All right, Keith, thanks so much for doing this, and good luck this weekend.
Okay, thank you.
This Saturday, our women's game of the week is goals, grit, and high stakes as Pickering FC women take on Tecumseh United FC women. League 1 Ontario Championship, Sunday, June the 29th, 5 p.m. at the Pickering Soccer Centre. Now, Pickering, they come into this as one of the most explosive attacking teams in League 1 Ontario Championship. Actually, only Rush Canada rivals their scoring output, and Pickering have done it with far more balance at the back. Leading the charge, Naya Cardoza, one of the league's top scorers and a constant threat in the final third. She's not just scoring, she's setting the tone for Pickering's side that loves to play on the front foot. And look, with Pickering, it's not just about individual brilliance. The team's been flowing in attack with goals coming from multiple sources. And that's something their high-performance manager, Barry Donnelly, and his whole staff will have been emphasizing in training. But I don't think this game's going to be quite one-sided. Tecumseh may sit mid-table, but they've also shown flashes of real danger this season. And in a forward like Avery Cole-Martin, a proven goal scorer, she can break open big games, and you're never out of it when that's your attacker. Their head coach, James Lamborn, has built quite a squad, and now that's capable of frustrating top teams, but also their challenge is now going to have to be coming up against Pickering's relentless pressure and then taking their own chances when they come. We're really excited about this one. The match is going to be one of the league's most efficient attacks against a hungry team, really looking to establish themselves and prove that they can compete with the best. For Pickering, it's about chasing the top of the table and really tightening those title credentials. And for Tecumseh, it's a chance to make a statement and maybe climb into the playoff conversation. Remember, kickoffs at 5 p.m., June 29th. Don't miss what could have been one of the most entertaining fixtures in the championship so far.
All right, thank you to all parties for previewing the weekend. The games are primed to have tons of action, but with that, that is all we have for this week. Next week, we will be going over the men's quarterfinals for the League One Cup. But if you've enjoyed the video, leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you've loved it, and we'll see you all pitchside.